Hello, John Wright here again for Wilcom Discovery and Deco Studio 3. We're going to look at some auto digitizing in this video. Recently on a Wilcom blog there was an article about creating a new leaf design, or a design called New Leaf, by converting the vector image that the customer or the digitizer received and converting it to stitches. And you can see it says in the article here it was a vector file. It was just imported into Deco Studio and converted to stitches. So we'll just scroll down. Here's the file itself. And we'll roll down a little further. And this is what the program has completed. I thought we'd look at it a little differently today, and we'll actually screen capture from this web page. Now that's going to be a raster file or a bitmap, JPEG, PNG file. I'm going to use the snipping tool, which is a Windows tool. It's a screen capture tool. So you'll find that in your programs, just snipping, and we'll just capture this design. Another program I like to use is Snagit. It's great for this sort of stuff. So we'll simply copy that to the blackboard. And now open our Deco Studio and go straight to the Corel graphics side of the program. Now once that's open, it's just a matter of edit, paste, or Control V for paste. And while we're in Corel, you can do as much editing as you like, but first of all we'll convert it to a vector file. I'll just drag it down in size a little bit. You could change the size before or after, or even in the Deco Studio side of the program, so it's quite a bit of flexibility. So I'm just going to drag this raster file down, or bitmap file, and place it a little higher on the screen, and then select Trace Bitmap. You've got a number of choices here: quick trace, centerline trace, or outline trace. And within the outline you've got 6 different trace methods. So try each of them. Some logos will work better with different trace types. So I'm going to go for a low quality image. So Corel doesn't actually convert it. It copies and creates a vector file, so you end up with both the original and the vector file. And you can do quite a bit of editing here by merging colors, deleting colors, etc. So just come under your colorway tab and you can play with that. You can delete colors, etc. So there we are. Now once we've completed that, we simply go OK. I was just thinking there, I'm going to digitize the lettering using our lettering system. So when I get this back into the Corel side of the program, I'm going to ungroup all of the objects and delete the lettering. But as I said, the bitmap file will come across, and we'll use that as a template to create the lettering within Deco Studio. So I'll just drag the vector image away. Now if I right click on that and bring up the Ungroup All button, and you can see that on the right hand side in the Object Manager all the curves have been highlighted. So I'll just select those curves that I wish to delete and hit the delete button. Now I'll select the remaining part of the logo, the remaining vector part of the logo. Oh, before we go, as I mentioned a moment ago, we can resize, change the color, do whatever you want in the Corel part of the software simply by selecting the object and using the resize or reshape tools. But here we'll select all of those objects and simply hit the convert button. We'll come straight back into Deco Studio. Now our images is hidden there, so I just hit the shortcut key D to display the image, and I'll drag. I'm just you can see all the images have been created there. So the first color, second color, and then the third color, the little border around the inner object. Okay, I'll just select them all and drag them up so that they sit on top of the bitmap. Okay, so now we know that we can complete the lettering and match the original size. Okay, so bring up our lettering box and go to text options and type in the word new. Now there'll be a number of ways you can do this. I'll do these words separately because they're a different color. So I'll just create the text. I haven't measured the lettering or anything. I've just created it there, and I'll drag it to make it the correct size. So with my reshaping tool, and the shortcut for that is the letter H, I've dragged each of the letters closer together, so I've kerned them. I'll change the color, and I'll just drag the letters out till they match the artwork. So we're lucky to have the Adele font in our ESA files. We also could have, if need be, we could have converted a TrueType font that's on the system. But the Adele file is an ESA file. Now I've simply right-clicked on that word new and dragged off, right-clicked and held and dragged off. That's duplicated the word new. Now I just have to change the lettering properties of that object and update. So I'll just do some kerning there as well. Now you may have noticed earlier I'm using the crosshair cursor, which allowed me to line the two words up when I was dragging them apart. So I lined up the word leaf with the nodes of the previous word, the word new. Okay, so I was happy with that. I changed the color. Now we'll select the word landscaping, and it's a running stitch font. Yes, just run script. Yep, yeah, run script. So simply create the text and drop it on the screen. Now we could kern these letters, but first of all I'll drag them down to approximate size. Now by pushing in from the end, I'm sort of adjusting the italics angle of those letters. So you can see the L and the D are standing off. So I just second click the word, and there's a rotation point comes up in the middle of that object, and by selecting the top middle node I can just reslant the letters to match our artwork, and select the color. So in less than 10 minutes, probably about 6 minutes or so, 6.5 minutes, we've created that design. But I'd just like to show you another feature that we can use in Deco Studio. So I've just compressed the color palette there. Now, it would be nice if there was a border around each of these objects. Now, you could do it manually, but with the Add Border tool, we can automatically put borders around objects. Now in this case I'm selecting all of those objects that I want the border to go around, or simple offset, and we have a 0 offset. I've deselected the create filled holes option. Now because I've selected all of the objects, I just have to resequence and recolor those pieces that I've added in. So you can see the first color, the lighter green, and I'll just drag the borders that belong to those objects so that it stitches them immediately after. So the original artwork didn't require that we do this, but I think this adds a nice touch to the design. It's very easy to do. And we've still got plenty of control there. We can select selecting those objects, those inputs, the objects, and change their column width if we want to. And I'm going to do that in this case. They're a little bit close together. The objects are all a bit close together, so I'll simply select the input C and change the column width, reduce it down to about 1.2, 1.3.